our camp was right there, not far at all. So when we get there, this thing is there. This thing's walking the base of that hill, knocking around, grunting, snapping limbs, heavy footfalls. So we'd hear footsteps, and like I shined the light. I remember shining the light multiple times, but the last time I held the light. We turn and look, and this thing's standing there looking at us, and it turns around, probably 5-10 seconds. I don't know, brother. It felt like forever. Like I wasn't looking at my watch. Walks off into the woods, and for the life of me, I don't know how it got to us.
Stacy, thanks for being here tonight, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, no problem, bud. I appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, no, we appreciate you being here for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked
Finally.
people want to listen to me ramble.
I tell you what, since we've started this podcast 3.5 years ago, you were probably one of the first guests that we wanted to probably talk to back in the day. And, we tried to connect before, but I know things get busy, but finally got you on, and we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, man. Sorry about that. I tend to forget shit a lot. I try to stay busy, man, because if I don't stay busy, if I don't have nothing to do, I start getting depressed.
Oh, yeah.
So I fill my shit up.
Right on. Well, for the listeners, you're a director, producer, actor, and writer. And you're probably most famous for, I guess, you and your father's Bigfoot Skunk Ape video that you guys recorded when you're out.
Yeah. My cat. There you are.
Cool.
Hey, my man. He always comes on.
Right on.
But yeah, the footage was something else, man. That'd probably be about the most thing I'm known for. Luckily, nobody remembers Bigfoot Bounty, so good on that,
I actually do. I think that was a funny movie.
Well, you just mentioned it, so now they're gonna look it up.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was fun. Everything's been a blast, man. I've been blessed with many odd circumstances with all kinds of people. How about that?
Right. So what was it, your father that got you into where you're at now with the cryptid world, Bigfoot and all that, or were you into that way before that?
No, it was my dad. He when I was young, he would watch like Unsolved Mysteries. There was a show called Sightings, In Search Of, but it didn't come on much. You got to figure back in the early 90s, you didn't really have, like, cable wasn't, you were at the mercy of whatever they were playing, right? So In Search Of was from the 70s, and I think I'd seen it like twice. But there was a show called Sightings on that was pretty cool. And then, Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. That was, like, to a young kid, bro, that really terrified me in multiple ways. Like, you don't know how many times I laid there in my bed and was like hoping I didn't get abducted by aliens. It was a thought, dude. Like, holy shit,
Yeah, well, his voice made it way more intense too, just for that fact alone,
Yeah, he's standing in some like fog-filled alley with this long, jacket on. Like, what are you back here selling, bro? What is going on?
Right. So what made your dad go out? You guys go out that evening. You guys had a infrared camera? Is that what you were looking with, or?
Yeah.
So and go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, man.
Well, I was just say we're at. You guys were in Florida when this happened, right?
Yeah, we were in Torreya State Park, which is a panhandle. It's right on the Apalachicola River. Not far from there is an area they call the Garden of Eden. One of the Torreya tree that grows there. It's supposedly in the Garden of Eden, right? There was only like two places it would be on the planet according to the Bible. It was like in the Garden of Eden and in Jerusalem, and it would grow between like 200 and 300 feet elevation. we have that tree there. And so like in the 50s, a bunch of theologians, I guess, is how you'd say that. But they decided that the Garden of Eden was right here, you know. I don't know if they were right or not, but it was a big like roadside thing back in the 60s and stuff. And now the state's like taking that land and they got a nice trail you can walk through there and stuff. But yeah, we was up there in the Panhandle, and I had seen a Bigfoot months before. So this was May, right? And in November, when I went camping and had my encounter, my dad had been diagnosed with cancer, and so he couldn't go. He had to have surgery, right? Well, in May he was better. Surgery went good, cancer free. And so he wanted to get back out to hanging out with me and stuff, and he had seen how serious I was, because you got to figure I was in a rock band that was doing pretty good, right? I think that last year before I quit, I made like $12,000, like my cut, and you know that's not bad playing your own music, right? Because we're not a cover band. We did do some shows a couple times to raise some money, because we could get paid more as a cover band, but we started getting to where we were like playing in the region, you know, and then like if Saliva would come through town or through the state, we'd jump on a few shows with them and stuff. We were getting there, right? There was reason to believe that you should continue to do this music, right? Like you got some sort of, you're not starting off from the bottom. You're drawing about 200 people a show, you know. And when
What was the name of your band?
Fireplug.
And what kind of music did you guys play?
It's like a grunge.
Okay.
Yeah. So I seen a Bigfoot and I quit. I was like, I don't want to do that. I didn't know these things were real. You got to figure I'm standing maybe 10 yards from a Sasquatch. Right. And so in my head, I'm like, holy cow, I was that close and I wasn't trying to be that close. Right.
Can you tell us about the encounter, Stacy? Can you take us into it and tell us how it happened?
Yeah. So we went, Finding Bigfoot had a show on, right? And now I had been Bigfooting before, but it was just a way to hang out with my dad. Like the wives and the sister and all that, they wouldn't follow us into the swamps. They're like, yep, nope, we don't want no part of that. So we go out and we get to hang out all weekend, eat beans and weenies off of sterno and stuff. You know, it was fun. Never in a million years thought that we would run into anything or that Bigfoot was really even a thing in North Florida. You know, we knew about the skunk ape down in the Everglades, South Florida, and then Bigfoot out in Washington, but we really didn't think there was anything going on here. So that was about the extent of our Bigfooting, right? And Finding Bigfoot came on. The second episode, they had a lady that had a handprint on the inside of her door, right, from Florida. And they put her name up there. And so I looked her name up in this. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but there was this thing called a phone book, right? It had yellow pages and it had white pages, and the white pages was like residential numbers. I looked her up, bro, and they had her name in there. So I was like, oh, wow. So I called her up and she told me come back in November. And because that was July, I was actually playing a show down in St. Mark's at a riverside. I was kind of like the lunchtime entertainment, just up there with acoustic singing songs, you know. And she called me during one of my sets. And I called her back and she told us to come on down there in November because she was, I don't know who she thought I was, but she obviously thought that like being in the woods wasn't safe for me. She must have, I guess the BFRO guys that have been there weren't swamp people, right? They didn't live in that shit, so maybe she was super cautious about the snakes, which I thought was just dumb, but whatever. And so, we roll out there. I roll out there with my bass player because my daddy's sick. And as soon as we get down the driveway, she got this long ass driveway, come down a hill. As soon as we get down the driveway, this like black thing steps into the tree line. Okay. And now I only seen it like waist down, right? That's all I noticed was a leg kind of going in the tree line there. And we stopped. We looked at each other like, no way, dude. And then we rolled the windows down and you could hear this thing walking off, but there were no tracks in the road. That was the weird thing. There was no tracks. And if it was a hog, there wasn't no damn hog tracks in the road. It was very sugar sand. You could have seen, what it walked across. But anyways, we get up there, meet the landowner. She takes us around on this tour. She takes us around on a mule, a Kawasaki mule, not an actual mule. This lady wasn't out there riding around no damn mule, but it's like one of them utility vehicles, right? It's kind of like a side-by-side. But anyhow, she takes us around. She's like, yo, somebody seen a Bigfoot there, such and such, got growled at air. They take us up this trail to the backside of the property, and there's a loop on the top of a hill. And so on the top of the loop, she took us up there because there were these structures, but they weren't like, if you get online and you don't know nothing about Bigfoot and you're looking for structures, all you're going to see are these giant structures. These fuckers wasn't but like maybe knee high, small, very intricate. Would have been something a human could do. Okay, so me and my buddies kind of like, yeah, whatever, she takes us around. Then they drive us out. We drive through these planted pines down this long road, and it ends back in this little like campsite. It's a circle campsite, and you're on top of a hill as well. You're about 75 foot, maybe 100 foot above the creek. The creek's in both directions. The creek's on, if you're standing with the road to your back, the creek's running west to east, and then it meets the other creek running north to south, right? So we're kind of right there in that little cubby spot on this hill, and there's this damn shack. We called it the stabbing cabin. It looked straight up like Jason Voorhees lived in it. Like, you absolutely don't want to camp at this place just because of the mental, thoughts. But so she drops us off. She's like, yeah, BFRO's been looking at this place 7 years, but nobody's ever stayed out overnight. Nobody's ever camped out in the woods. So here's our number, or here's Bill's cell, her husband. And she's like, if y'all need anything, it don't matter what time, call us, we'll come and get you. Well, and that kind of was like ominous, it's like, oh, great. Nobody's ever camped out here before, but none of us, neither me or Matt, thought that Bigfoot was real. 100% thought it was cool. We were going out there to write some tunes. You know what I mean? But we did not think that Bigfoot was real at all. And so night falls. We're walking the trail. We walk the way they drove, right? So we walk probably about 1.5 miles up to that hill, right? And we're sitting down there by them structures. Nothing's going on. We're just bullshitting. And then, like, it was November, so the hickory nuts are falling out of the trees, and they're kind of big, right? Bigger than acorns, almost like a pecan. But we start noticing they're falling uphill because we're sitting on a hill, and these are coming uphill, right? So we're like, oh my God. And so I dig this thermal out of my bag. I had like an electrician's thermal. One of the ones you could look at the wires and see a hot spot if you needed to fix something on a boat or something like that. And then I shined it over across, because where we're sitting on this hill, it drops, there's a little ravine, and then it goes back up. So we're maybe 30 yards to the other side of the ravine. And behind these trees, now these trees probably about as big around as a pool cue, right? There's a little grouping of them, but you can't hide behind it. And you see straight through it. There's this huge ass heat signature there, right? You take a picture, scares the mess out of us. We go back to camp. What we didn't realize at the time, because we got a mile and a half to walk back, right? What we didn't realize at the time was we were only like 2 hills over. Had we went across that ravine, went over that hill, and then went over another one, our camp was right there. Not far at all, you know. So when we get there, this thing is there. Okay, but it's like, and as I said, we were up on elevation on a hill. This thing's walking the base of that hill, knocking around, grunting, snapping limbs, heavy footfalls. The leaves have fallen already, so you could not walk. And this is something I didn't think about till years later. You couldn't walk without making noise. An armadillo would sound like a freight train. You know what I mean? So we'd hear footsteps, and like I shined the light. I remember shining the light multiple times, but the last time I held the light, and it was probably for 10 minutes. Like, I mean that. Probably held that light on that tree where I heard them footsteps go to for about 10 minutes, and nothing. Turn the light off, walk back up the hill. Just about when I get to the top of the hill, there they go again. Right? We're sitting around a fire trying to, enjoy ourselves. We've cooked some cowboy steaks. Which funny thing about cowboy steaks, you cook them on a rock, right? Well, we cooked them on this little grate I had, but we didn't have no plates, so we had to hold these hot ass steaks in our hands, right? So we called them cowboy steaks anyway. So you played hot potato there for a little bit. And we're talking, just hanging out, and then we hear like, have y'all seen Next Friday? The movie? Yeah. Okay. You remember when Day Day's talk about Baby D, how she'd be breathing and not even be, or she'd be snoring and not even be asleep? She's just standing there like, Cupcake got this new Twinkie out. You know what I mean? That's what we heard. Best I could describe it, like a very heavy breathing. We turn and look, and this thing's standing there looking at us. And it turns around, probably 5-10 seconds. I don't know, brother. It felt like forever. Like I wasn't looking at my watch. Walks off into the woods. And for the life of me, I don't know how it got to us. I don't know how it got up the hill. We would have heard it. I was on alert already. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think about this at the time. I wouldn't even have entertained it anyways, because of my beliefs on Bigfoot at that moment versus my beliefs on Bigfoot now are completely different. And back then, this thought process doesn't make sense with what I thought Bigfoot was. But I don't know how I got up there, and it wasn't standing there the whole time, because I just walked literally right through there. I would have seen it. It wasn't like it was hiding. Come out, looked at us, walked away. We're scared. I'm like, you go to bed, bro. Matt's like drinking now at this point. Matt was, we're in a rock band. We smoke and drink, I wasn't drinking, but Matt was a little more apt to drink a lot. So that wasn't nothing out of the ordinary for him. But anyways, he goes and gets in a tent. Now, like, all honesty, we had 2 tents, but us 2 grown-ass men climbed up in the same tent. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up falling asleep on the cooler. Like, I fell off. I fell to a knee. And that's what woke me up. I'm like, I got to get into bed. I go lay down. I wake up. It's probably 4 or 5 o'clock. I don't know. It wasn't long till daylight broke, but I woke up to Matt screaming. When I opened my eyes, the tent was like in front of my face. One of these little dome tents like you get at Walmart, right? The thing, I guess it didn't know what it was that we were in, but it knew we were in there, and it was pushing the top of it down. Matt said it happened multiple times. I only caught the last of it. It goes tearing off through the damn woods. Sounded like somebody just drove an S10 off into the woods. So, Matt's like, all right, let's go get in the truck and go to sleep. And I'm like, no. Like, I don't think I could have taken waking up and that thing looking at me through a window. It's not so much that it's like a scary feeling, you know, and this is why I have a lot of problems with a lot of things that people say when they're talking about the forest friends and stuff. Oh, we had such a good encounter and stuff. Like, bro, you're lying or you're out of your mind. These things are so big, brother, that it's a helplessness. There's nothing you can do. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? You'd be Francis Ngannou. The Sasquatch gonna rip your arms off of you if it wants to. And that was what I took from it, because I had a 44 Magnum on me, very visible that I was carrying this gun around in case somebody was going to try to scare me, right? That might deter that. That gun wouldn't have done nothing, and it's a big ass pistol. You know what I mean? You could do some damage with that pistol. The reason I got it is in case I ran out of bullets, I could still use it as a weapon, right? The gun was massive. A Ruger Red Hawk 44 Magnum. And I just remember it's like when you get a call that somebody's died or somebody's on the way to the hospital and it ain't looking good. That feeling right there was what I had. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, and I couldn't have taken waking up to that. So next morning, I call my dad. I'm like, yo, bro, tell him what went down. I think he kind of half believes me, maybe. I would think some, just my dad was bad to tease me about smoking, right? So he was from that devil's lettuce 70s propaganda, you know what I'm saying? Reefer madness kind of shit. But so he told me, he goes, you mean to tell me, he goes, well, what are you doing now? I was like, I'm about to come home. I ain't slept much. I look like a damn sprayed roach is what I look like right now, right? My hair's all over the place. I'm a mess. And he's like, you mean to tell me you've been looking for Bigfoot since you was 6 and you finally found him and you gonna come home? He's like, how about this? You come on to the house, boy, and I'm going to punch you straight in your face when you get here. And I was like, all right. So we got off the phone. Didn't say nothing to Matt. We rode up into Chattahoochee to get some breakfast. We both sat down at the table. And then we finally talked about it. Matt said, so they didn't get us. Do you want to stay another night? It's like, I don't want to stay another night, but I think we should, We walk around them damn woods all day long. We find some cool stuff. We find some stuff where it looks like somebody drove a truck through there, but it wasn't no tire mark. Obviously, there was no truck drove through these spots. It would be almost like if you was up in like a holler or something and down in the bottom of it, and then a bunch of trees are pushed over in a row, and it's like, yeah, ain't nobody drove no damn truck in here. And plus, you're on private land anyways. Find some other structures, kind of cool stuff, bunch of breaks, but no feelings like we were being watched, no knocks, nothing. We didn't tell the landowner what happened. We didn't want to encourage anything in case she was the one that scared us, because we were still both kind of like, yo, you think they got a good enough suit? And it's like, I don't know. They got a nice ass house, bro. They probably got money to buy a good ass suit, if they're wanting to scare somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's you're trying to convince yourself against what you saw, right? Like there wasn't no suit that good, uh, at least that we knew of on any kind of commercial or like budget that we could get. It gets dark. Here it comes again. Same stuff. Walking around the base of the hill, grunting, smacking shit, slapping trees. I thought I heard it slap a tree a couple of times. And then around midnight, somewhere in there, the worst thing happened the whole trip. This thing screams, right? It's probably 50 yards from us down that hill. Yeah, I knew where he was. He's probably like right on the creek. I assumed he was standing right beside the creek. Screams, you can feel it. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, no way. But that wasn't the worst part. It couldn't have been like 20, 30 seconds after he was done or it was done. It got a reply from maybe a half mile, maybe a mile. I don't know how far it was a distance, but we heard it, right? And it was the same exact yell. And I was like, oh, that's great. He's done called Larry and the boys, and they're about to come up on in here on us now. You know what I'm saying? But that's when all of it ended. I'm assuming that one went to that one, and nothing else happened. But I was sold, right? So I'm like all in it. I get on. I don't know if y'all been in it that long where y'all know what the Bigfoot forums are. They may be open still. I don't even know if it's still up. I get on this website and a bunch of lunatics, right? Like they're all infighting, and from reading their stuff, none of them, it wasn't impressive in any way, shape, or fashion. I was like, this is exactly why Bigfoot hasn't been found. These people can't go and hunt a normal animal. If you tell me, hey, Stacy, go get a turkey, we can go get a turkey. Might not get it today, we'll get it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Especially like right now, we can go call him and find out where he's roosting and come back in the morning and pop his ass. But they had never hunted anything. At least that was my impression. I was like, hey, this is going to be sewed up in like 6 months, brother. I'm about to kill a Bigfoot. I'm about to prove to the world Bigfoot is real. And I go all in. I cut everything out of my life. The rock and roll's done. I switched my shifts to 12 hours so I could have more days off during the week so I could spend more time in the woods. I had 2 trucks at the time, a Ford Ranger and an S10. A Ford Ranger was a great truck, really nice. My S10 was my beater truck. I loved it. But it was my old beater, and I sold that nice one, which didn't set well, but I needed to buy equipment. I made a YouTube video about it. It had 6 plays. I was just talking about my encounter. And a producer from Howard Stern show watches it. He's one of the 6. Calls me up. I hang up on him twice because I think it's a joke. Like, I'm a redneck from Crawfordville, dog. What are you calling me for, Mr. Howard Stern producer? You know what I mean? We ain't got no business talking. We ain't the same people. Well, the third time he calls, he yells at me, and then he's like, will you get on the plane if I buy the tickets? I'm going to buy it right now. 10 minutes later, I got the confirmation. So he's shooting this show called Project Sasquatch with Dr. Meldrum. And like the thing about it that was unbelievable is like you're going to be Dr. Meldrum's field response or field team response or something like that. He wanted me to lead the team that would go out and follow up on the things. And I'm like, whatever, dog. Like, but it turned out to be true. And we went to Idaho and we went to Meldrum's lab and we hung out with him for like a week. We went in the mountains and filmed. We flew in a Cessna with him through the Rockies. I think it was the Rockies. It was some mountain range. It was pretty cool. I know that much. We got to watch. I'll never forget it. Me and Meldrum are standing in the Pocatello airport while this producer's like running through credit cards trying to pay for this fucking flight that he just bought. And Tim Tebow is playing for the Broncos, and the touchdown, like in the game, Tim Tebow throws the pass, the guy goes to the house and scores the touchdown. And I'm like, yeah, Tebow. And then Meldrum's like, yeah, I don't watch football. I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? But I'll never forget. Anytime I see that play, I'm like, yeah, I was standing with Dr. Meldrum right there when that happened.
Yeah, nerdy scientist.
Yeah. But that show doesn't sell, but it was fun. So my dad saw I was serious. I was all in, bro. I was like, I mean, going all over the place all the time. And it was like an unhealthy obsession. But anyways, once my dad got better, to get back to your original question, he hit me up on a Tuesday. I was working, and he's like, yo, would you like to go Bigfooting tonight? And I was like, hell, just come by work, grab my bag, come by work, pick me up, we'll get some food and stuff on the way. Well, he had picked everything up, got food and everything by the time he got there. And it had been kind of raining that day. I think it had rained like 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit less, but it was like kind of like a Seattle rain. Wasn't a real hard rain. It's just like drizzled for hours and hours, and which was good for us because the whole thing was like a perfect storm. You know what I mean? Just not George Clooney. I could be George Clooney if you want me to. But anyways, it was wet, so you couldn't hear yourself really walk through the woods. The cicadas were super loud. We were sitting out there at the fire at the Rock Creek Campground in Torreya State Park. So if you go there and you go to that campground, it's a primitive campground. You got to walk like a mile downhill. It's a good grade, It's a quick walk down, long walk out. We're down there. It's Tuesday night. No one's in the park. At least no vehicles. Camping, some White Zombie on, listening to some music, and we hear a knock. And I told my dad, I was like, yo, they might be coming, I'm getting excited. He's like, whatever, man, whatever. Hear another knock. I'm like, hey, I'm telling you, bud, they coming. And he's like, yeah, no. And then he's like, if we hear another knock, we'll go. And right as he said that, it was like a grunt and a knock. It was like, ooh, right? And I was like, bro. And so crank the music. Where we were at, the palmettos were really high. Okay. So you didn't have to squat to sneak down or to sneak out. You know what I mean? And because of the rain on Black Hot, the trail looked like snow. The beaten path looked like snow, right? And we're really worried about snakes, okay? I don't know if the rest of the country's got all these issues, but like it's a big deal walking around in the night, okay? Especially after it's been raining, like they're out eating frogs right now. You don't want to be doing that. So he's got this little light, a headlamp, and it's got a red setting on it, right? So he's got it in his fist. And he could just move his hands, open his fist up a little bit, and see a little bit of the trail. Well, back then, bro, I was full bore. We're always running audio, we're always running video every time, every second, every day that we're in the woods. Well, Daddy's got the thermal, and I got my hand on Daddy's shoulder, and I got the handy cam, and I'm kind of following behind him, right? And as we were going, we're hearing footsteps. Not footsteps, it's like running, okay? Boom, 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 over here, and then boom, 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 over here. And looking back on it, I think they were playing. They were like doing, you know what I mean? It was almost like a damn clown world or something out there. They were just like acting out, because there's so much noise. They weren't trying to hide. They didn't know we were there. And we hear something down the ridge. So we turn and we think we're on the blue trail, right? But really Daddy turned onto a game trail, a well-beaten game trail. I'm assuming this is one they used on a regular basis. Them deer, probably everything, but it was big enough a man could walk through it and you didn't have to duck your head. So a big boy trail. As we're walking down, this thing comes down the ridge towards us. So we're looking up right at this ridge that kind of slopes down. Like once it gets back to the main trail, the ridge isn't there anymore. And we're kind of in that. So as it's running, you hear boom, 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 and then it stops. And Dad's like, whoa, I see something. So he's filming. And he's like, oh, it's a coon because it's sticking out of one side of the tree. And you also hear like a scratching on the bark. You know what I mean? So a coon made sense. When he said, I was like, damn, that's a big ass coon. Because those are loud footfalls. And he's like, it's two coons because now it's sticking out of both sides of the tree. This tree is 27 inches wide. I could stand behind it and you didn't see me. There's a picture on Cliff Barackman's website. If you read the report of the footage that he did, and the trees there, I'm behind that tree and you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? You can't see me at all. And he's like, yeah, it's two coons. It's two coons. And then Daddy kicked a palmetto or something. He like stepped forward just a little bit. Something popped. This thing jolts out. Mind you, I don't see anything. Okay? I've got the handy cam. I just hear all this noise. Tearing off through the bushes. Bro, my dad's a retired Army Ranger. Okay? I ain't never seen him shook at all. Any situation. I seen him shook right here. And he's like, get your gun, get your gun. And that was a big deal. Dad didn't ever say, hey, get the gun. He had told me that a few times. And it was because somebody was on the property. You know what I'm saying? So I knew something was up. My mind immediately goes to a big cat. Because that's my least favorite thing about the woods is the possibility of big cats. Gators, snakes, none of that bother me. Big cat, yes sir, you can chalk that up. So anyways, we're running and Dad's trying to catch his breath. Cameron's dead. He's like, oh, we can't see, all we got is this stupid ass light, and you couldn't see. It's a headlamp. It was a headlamp in 2012. It wasn't even it was a good headlamp, but like 3 lumen or something, you know what I mean? You couldn't see nothing. We get back to the camp. I still don't know what it is. Dad's just like, it's big. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Because we're still hearing this. It's not like, okay, it ran off. It's all the way. No. There's multiple ones. We're hearing all this noise. And maybe these other sounds weren't all Bigfoots. Okay? I have no idea. But damn it, in that moment, they were. You know what I mean? Because there was one. And so now we're assuming every noise we hear is a Bigfoot. Rightfully so. Tear the camp down. Like I said, long walk out, going back uphill. The trail goes all the way until you hit this Boy Scout camp. And then on the other side of the Boy Scout camp is the parking lot, the bathrooms, and all that mess. These things follow us all the way to it. All the way up the hill. You know what I mean? And we get in the truck. I finally get to see the footage. And I'm like, oh, hold on, big dog. Big dog, what you doing? I was like, you've been after Bigfoot since I was 6 years old, and now we found one, and you gonna leave, huh? Is that how this is going? Right? And he's like, all right, you smart ass. You can have the camera. Go your ass on back down there. And I was like, no, I'm good, dude. The camera's dead anyways. And at that moment, I wasn't scared of them, or I wasn't comfortable being in the woods by myself when I was doing that. I ended up getting that way, which was dumb. I now am way more cautious sometimes than I was then. But yeah, that was about it. And you get in that video, you get to see Dad become a believer on camera, but he goes through this whole denial thing. He started accusing me of having somebody in the woods. You know what I mean? I'm like, Dad, okay, let's just say that's what happened. See, what you're trying to tell me is I got a friend who's big. That's a pretty big guy. And who is my friend. So good. He's such a friend to me that he's went butt naked a mile into the woods with no flashlight, waiting to jump out and scare us at midnight on a Tuesday. I was like, I ain't got no damn friends like that. I was like, think about what you're saying. You couldn't run. Like, brother, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. You could not run off into the trees because you would run into the trees. A vine would take you out. Lord knows what happened to you. Fall in a hole, fall down a ravine. You ain't running in the dark in the woods. This thing didn't have no problem, brother. So we sent that footage because I was going to put it out. I was like, hey, let's just throw it out there, see what's up. And he's like, hell no. He's like, look at you, dude. He's like, no one's going to believe us. We're from the South. So we sound stupid. Like, I sound like a redneck, right? And it doesn't sound intelligent. You can be smart as anybody else, but that accent throws everybody's like, oh, okay, he's related to his sister by like they had kids together, so we sent it out to like 4 or 5 people. Derek Randall's, my dad really respected Derek Randall's. We sent it to Derek Randall's, sent it to Meldrum, sent it to Facebook Find Bigfoot. I don't know if y'all remember those guys. Facebook Find Bigfoot guys, yahoos. Anyways, good thing you don't know about them. And then we sent it to Cliff Barackman, right? Cliff agrees to do an investigation on it. My dad wanted it before we put it out to have some kind of numbers, a recreation, and all that stuff. And he wanted us to not be involved in it. He felt that we've got skin in the game. We need somebody who has no reason to say this is real. They've got a reputation or whatever else, but if it's fake, they're going to say it's fake. And, Cliff did it. For months, we would go out to this park and get numbers for him. And, from the psych, so he could get all his investigation together. And then he ended up coming down there and double checking those numbers. Meanwhile, he had FLIR thermographers look at it to see if it was a real thing or maybe if it was CGI. I believe he had a guy actually check that out, like a CGI guy or some dude like that, to check it out, make sure it wasn't CGI. And then it premiered at the FLIR conference in Orlando, the international conference down there. And we had a bunch of those FLIR guys come up, being like, whoa, dude, like, I don't believe in Bigfoot, but I don't know what you filmed, And my dad wasn't going to do the show. Cliff wanted us to come on Finding Bigfoot. And my dad wasn't interested. My dad was worried that, Moneymaker or somebody call him a liar or something like that. He didn't want to be embarrassed on TV. And then Cliff's like, Mr. Brown, you don't understand. He's like, this is, in my opinion, the best thermal that's ever been captured. And in everybody's opinion in the group, this is some of the best evidence since the Patterson film. He's like, no one is going to make fun of you. He's like, I can't speak for Renee, but I don't know how she's going to have a rebuttal to this. And then that was cool because dad agreed to do the show then. And then Renee said, she goes, this is the first time I don't know what it is. She's like, I'm not saying it's a Bigfoot. And then Moneymaker's like, that's because it's a Bigfoot. But, Yeah, it was cool, man. It was something else, and Daddy's passed on and stuff, and it's a very fond memory of mine. I tell people it doesn't have to be proved to anybody, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't. Y'all weren't there. You should be skeptical of everything. You weren't there, but to me, I won the Super Bowl with my best friend in that moment, and you can call me a liar, you can beat my ass, whatever you want to do. You're not taking that away from me. You know what I mean? It's like the Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. Nobody's ever going to take that away from them. You know what I mean? So, fins up, baby.
Yeah, that video is amazing. It walks like you would think a Bigfoot would walk. It has that glide move to it. You only can see it move from kind of tree to tree, and it moves pretty quick, like 1 step or 1.5 steps. But I was going to ask you if we can find that video. Can we put it on our video when we put this out there? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely, dude.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Where can we find it at? Is it just Google it or something like that? Or
The Bigfoot footage?
yes.
Yeah, just the Brown Thermal or Stacy Brown Bigfoot, or go to my YouTube, Bigfoot Stacy.
Okay.
It's the pinned video on there. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
cool. So our
Yeah, just
listeners can go to that. Bigfoot Stacy on YouTube. Gotcha.
yeah. Subscribe while you're there.
We will.
Like and
Listeners will
subscribe.
too. Heck yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, and watching that was like crazy. I think I saw that. You did the documentary. Was it called Is the Skunk Ape Real? Is that what the name of the documentary was?
The Skunk Ape Lives.
The Skunk Ape Lives. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Amazing documentary, by the way. That was one of the first ones I think I ever watched, and I was like, man, this is really cool. And you showed you and your dad walking through. You have that video with you guys walking through in the dark, and how brave were you guys to do that, first of all? And second, you can tell, like you said, when your dad sees that creature walk across, he changes his tone real quick. He asks you if you have your gun on you. And then he's like, well, let's get out of here. Or so, and you can tell something's wrong, and you ask him, what's going on? And he's like, he won't answer you. He wants to get to safety. He wants to get you out of there. And so, he knew what he saw was real. Right.
Yeah. He kept, I got goosebumps right now. I don't know if you see it, but like, you're just thinking about that moment. He kept saying, we're blind. We're blind. And I don't know why, but that he goes, it was looking at me and I cannot see it anymore. And that was throwing him off. Like, he had no optics. He was at a complete, disadvantage, if you're going to try to defend yourself or nothing. Like, we ain't got shit, but we just have to sit here and wait till this thing grabs us. I wish I had known in the moment that it was a Bigfoot. Like, I wish I'd have had a thermal too, because I would have probably ran after it. I wasn't as scared as him. I was already a believer. He was not, and so yeah, it wasn't advantageous for him to have his meltdown right then. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it made it that much. I don't know how to explain it. It was really cool to see somebody's world get shook like that, watching the footage, like in the moment. Maybe we could have got another piece of footage, or maybe we could have got really close. I don't know. I don't think the thing wanted to hurt us, or the things. We'd have been done, but it went the way that we had to go to get back to camp. And he's like, it's going to cut us off. It's going to cut us off, And so that, it freaked him out. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. I don't know many people that would sit out there, because like, when I said it, when that second one replied, that first night that we had that encounter and all that stuff with Matt, and that one call back, I said it right then. I was like, we're in the ape enclosure. We've went to the zoo and set up a tent in the damn gorilla enclosure. That's what we've done right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think being in that enclosure, being in that area with these things, I don't know how people so nonchalantly say that they're around all the time, blah, 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 and you're not nervous. Like, come on, man. Like Joe Biden, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Cliff's report, it's better than the footage. Okay, if you piece them, both of them together, if you have the footage and then you have his report, it's proof. So they say we need a body, we need something we can test. Math is used in science all the time, right? It basically is one and the same. All these numbers are replicatable. We know how far the gap was. We know how big the tree was. We know within about 5 feet of how far we were away. Okay? I talked to Todd Dissatel the other day about this. Is there any... Would a scientific journal take something like that? If we had forensics look at it, a real good deep dive into the footage, and then you have the numbers and you could try to replicate it. Like on Cliff's report, he's got the photo of Bobo overlaid beside the creature when Bobo tried to make it. Bobo looks like a little bitty gummy bear to this thing. Like this thing is way larger than him. And Cliff said it best. He said Stacy's not smart enough to fake this. And I called him out at the first ever Florida Bigfoot conference. I was like, while you were right on that was a hell of a way to put it there, buddy. And he's like, did I really say that? I'm like, yeah, you did. I remember. But no, we didn't have the knowledge to do anything like that, and I don't know that anybody does. At least, yeah, I mean, like if somebody could figure it out, we said it after we put it out. If somebody thinks we were hoaxing, I'll hand you the same camera, take you to the spot. And that was for years. The spot has been destroyed by Hurricane Michael. That tree fell over during that storm. And the whole area there just looks different because almost all of those trees got wiped out. They said the park would take like 75 years to get to looking back the way it was. But we do have all the numbers. We do have all the stuff from the scene, and I don't understand why we have to have a body if we have something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can test it. You can replicate it. If you can figure out a way that we did it, then good. It's nothing. But if you can't figure out how it was done and you can't replicate it, like, do we actually have to have a body? We have to go and kill one of these things? I don't think we do.
I wouldn't think so.
No. And that brings me to my point on the wagon I'm riding on now. Every night when I go to bed, I know Bigfoot's real. Thousands of other people who have seen these things also know Bigfoot is real. Okay, so Stacy Brown's stupid self knows that Bigfoot's real. Are y'all dumb enough to think that the federal government doesn't know? If I know about it, are y'all that naive that you're going to think that the federal government doesn't know all about these things? Because I'm telling you, bud, I'm nothing special. Just in the right place at the right time. And I think that's where it will end up coming from. I think that's where proof's going to end up coming from.
Yeah. I think they know a lot more than we do about these things.
Of course.
When you talk about having a body, we've heard so many stories where if, heaven forbid, a Bigfoot or a dog man gets killed or shot, the government's right in there real quick. I mean, they're covering it up. It's obvious they're covering it up. Yep. I don't know why. I can speculate a lot of reasons, but that's where the question comes back to me asking you, do you think these things are just natural earth creatures, or do you think there's more to it than that?
Okay, so earth creatures, the way you worded that, I do believe they are from this plane. Or I do believe they are from this planet. I just don't think we perceive, because we only perceive like 3% of our reality. There's 97% of things going on around us that we can't perceive, we can't see, we can't hear, we can't touch. I'm assuming in 100 years, when we understand this magic rock in the middle of a void that we live on, the aliens have been here the whole time. The Bigfoot's been here the whole time. The fairies are probably here. The dog man's probably here. All these things, the dragons, the leprechauns, it's all probably real shit. Like, at the end of the day, like, people, I find it hard to believe that people all over the continent back in the day, with no way to communicate, all had these like serpent-like dragons, and you know what I mean? Like, all these creatures they talked about kind of look the same, you know? And that's one of two things. Either A, they did have a way to communicate and we just don't know about it, or B, the things were real and they were seeing them all over the globe. You'll notice in the UAP stuff now, they're talking about interdimensional, right? It's not that big of a thing to think. I mean, if the aliens are interdimensional, if we can travel through dimensions, which they're trying to open up portals, this is knowledge. This isn't a joke. This is out there. They're actually talking about this, what they're trying to do. Why are they trying to do that? You don't just sit at the house one day and be like, I'm going to make glue, and you've never heard of glue before. You don't know what the hell it is. You're just going to make it one day. No, you've seen glue. You've seen what it does. You're going to remake it. They've seen portals. They know what they are. They know what they do. They probably know what comes out of them, and now they're trying to open one. And they're just now talking about it. They've probably been trying to do this shit since the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime we're hearing information, it's done. They already figured it out. It's just a game they're playing with us to milk us for money. We need research money now. You know what I mean? We need all this and all that. And you're doing this to the environment. You're warming the planet up, but we fired off about 100 nukes into the atmosphere. Don't mind us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it aggravates me the way they do things, because like, also with they'll put like disinformation out there. So like in the UFO space, Rick Doty, the known liar, goes around and lied. He admitted to it. He worked for the government. That was his job, to go around and tell people, nah, you didn't see that. And he'd give them fake information. And then now the UFO community is going down this rabbit hole. Why wouldn't that be in the Bigfoot? You know what I mean? Why do people continue to hold on to this biological creature? If you've done research, you've most likely seen the lights. Small Town Monsters came down to do a little segment, put me in one of their little documentaries they make. They'd never seen lights, and they asked me on camera, why do you think Bigfoot is, something else? And I'm like, brother, from what I've seen, I didn't wake up with these thoughts, right? I follow the evidence. And then that night, we hear knocks. We hear a bunch of knocks, and they're all like, yeah, this is so good. This is some of the best knocks I've heard. And then a big-ass blue orb flies through the top of the trees. And they weren't recording like with the camera at the moment, but they did have their audio recorders going. And you hear them all talk, oh my God, whoa, did you see that? And I'm like, there you go, buddy. That is why I believe Bigfoots are something else. I mean, yeah, because this stuff's happening when there's Bigfoot activity. Now, granted, there are deer in the area, but nobody's accusing the deer of, like, we don't have a problem finding the deer, you know? And that's why my belief has went to the way it is. And I don't know what they are. I thought I did. I was the most loudest, braggadocious person there was. I won $100,000 research grant off a TV show. I thought I was going to have all this sewed up, man. Wrong, bro. Stupid. And the sad part about all this is there's so many people into this, but they break into camps. Like, we have the woo. We got to call them the woo, something degrading. And then we have the apers, right? Why don't we just go for the truth? Why don't we just become truthers and quit that? You know what I mean? Because there's so many people out doing it. There's got to be something that we can all help each other with, because at the end of the day, that's all I'm after. I'm after the truth. Maybe it is the primate that we just can't catch up with. But I tell you what, there's a lot better hunters than Stacy Brown out there in the world. And I find it hard to believe that ain't one of them done shot one of them and brought it in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's happened. And like we said, the government's came in and probably just covered that up. But, it is what it is. So what can we talk about as far as what you got going on? You got any books going on out there? Any upcoming movies? Or what can we help promote for you tonight on the show?
Yeah. I just did a Bigfoot documentary called Bigfoot: The Journey to Belief. Okay. And basically it's me trying to prove to my buddy that Bigfoot is real. My buddy is a Reddit troll. Okay, like legit card carrying member of Reddit Trolls United. And so in my mind, if I can convince this guy that Bigfoot is real, I can convince everybody. There's a big problem within the community that everybody just wants to prove Bigfoot to each other. It's like a pissing contest. None of them want to step out and have that conversation with the normal folks out here, because that's who we have to change. But we have to change their minds. And that's what me and Joey, we're both filmmakers. So we're like, yeah, let's do this project. So I lined up 20 people for him to sit down, face-to-face interview. During that, there was an underlying theme in about 30 or 40% of those, okay? Those encounters, that these people had reported it to the police, whether that be FWC, FHP, or a local sheriff's department, or forestry. They had told somebody. And after we interviewed this one guy about the Ocheesy wild man, we went and got a hold of the state of Florida, and they pulled us all of the documents from that governor. So the Ocheesy wild man back in 1884, just real quick, back in 1884, there was a Bigfoot caught about 12 miles from where my dad got his footage. Okay, same area. And they took it to the governor, William D. Bloxham. He didn't know what to do with it. He put it in a mental institution. It died there. So we got all of his correspondence and all his journals and everything. And we go through all this man's stuff. We were right there within the week. And we're scanning through these slides, right? And some of the leaves in that collection were so degraded you couldn't really read them. Like, there were whole sheets of paper, but now we're like maybe big as a grapefruit. And we're looking through it, and then bam, it says this page has been removed from the collection. Right? So it's kind of odd. It didn't change Joey's mind none. He was just like, whatever, And the cool thing about doing this with Joey was that he will seriously tell you what he thinks about the footage. Like, so Dave Shealy, okay, the guy that owns the Skunk Ape Research Center, went and talked to him. I'm like, okay, now you spoke with Dave, you've seen his footage. What do you think? He's like, well, he did happen to film the Skunk Ape at his campground. You know what I mean? Like, that's awful convenient. You're charging $200 something a night for these cabins. What's a better way to rent the cabin out than you film the Skunk Ape right here? And rightfully so. It's a red flag. It's something to think about. And But anyways, we go back to interviewing these people, and Joey sends a public records request to the FWC, okay, Florida Fish and Wildlife, and he's like, I would like to get any emails or reports that pertain to the words Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Skunk Ape, or Swamp Ape. Okay. They come back. How many emails do you think they would have? Just a guess.
Shit, I don't know.
100.
100?
150.
Couple hundred?
Couple hundred. How many reports? What would you say? See, I knew of 3 reports already, and I'd done talked to him about these, but I didn't know he was going to do this damn public records request. I had 3 reports, dates, times, officer that showed up, where it was at, the whole 9. But how many reports you think it would have? Just a guess.
Like
Probably less, because people are probably less likely to file a report.
Well, they came back and said they had 0 reports. Okay, 0, which was a lie. And they had 73,313 emails. And that's from 1990s, right? And they wanted $12,000 for them. So, yeah, we tried to trade our children for these things, and they wouldn't take them. You know, but they serious, no jokes aside, they wanted $12,000 for these damn emails. It's like, okay, why do we need $12,000? We're already paying your salary. And they're like, well, we have to redact stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you really don't have to do that. You can just give us the shit, you know, but they feel they need to redact all the good information out. So Joey brings it to my attention. I'm like, all right, let's talk to him about this one. There's a report they did. They had posted on social media about it. This officer, Ken White, went to a report where a lady saw a Bigfoot in her yard. It kept coming up to her house. Well, they made a joke out of it. They had a guy in a gorilla suit and Ken White holding a fishing net over the top of its head, right? It's a report. Y'all reported it. We wouldn't have known shit happened, but y'all reported it. Anyways, when we asked them about that, gave them the photo, gave them everything, you know what they did next? They shut communications down and closed our request. Quit talking to us, wouldn't reply to any other emails, which is actually against the law in the state of Florida. Our state prides itself on transparency and any public information. You know, if the public's wanting to audit somebody, you know, to see where this money's going or where this is going, our governor believes that that's our right to this information because it is our state. It does not belong to the politicians. So, that was the one thing that really started getting the wheels turning in Joey's head. Joey looked at me and said, he goes, if you want this to look like a cover up, this is exactly how you act. You know what I mean? And then a couple months before we released the film, Orlando Sentinel does a story on Dave Shealy. In there, they interview an FWC officer. He says, we get reports all the time. And then he talks about 6 of them. So which one is it? So we go down that process through that. Joey's now starting to open up to, all right, hey, they're actually hiding something. Maybe there is something to all of this. Because it's hard to believe, even from a skeptic standpoint, that nobody's called y'all about this. You know, all the people talking about Bigfoot, and no one's called you guys, like, ever. You know, give me a break. Like, even if it was a joke, somebody's called you about it. But no, they claim that didn't happen. So we ended up, you know, interviewing some more people. One guy had a encounter at this property, and across the street was the Lower Swanee River Management, you know, wildlife area. And in their hunting brochure, under the hog regulations, it says, the last sentence of the hog hunting regulations, it says, no harvesting of skunk apes or swamp apes. This is an official document.
Oh,
This ain't Stacy Brown making this document up. You know what I mean? Like, if people break the rules that you have in this document, they go to prison, brother. There's nothing on this paper that's a joke. But you have this one line in here that is very odd. Like, why did you put that in there? This isn't the place to joke around. You're messing with people's lives. And so that also struck him as odd, you know. And then we got to end the series up. We went to a place in Alabama where I believed that there had been activity going on. The guy had some video and great audio. Like, honestly, Flat Rock, if you ever get a chance, Flat Rock Wood Booger, I think is what he calls himself online. This dude probably has the best collection of Bigfoot audio of anybody. He's got like 8 terabytes right now. He hasn't even went through. But some of the audio I've heard out of there, dude, I'm telling you, like, I haven't heard no Ron Moorhead sounding stuff, but howls, and he's constantly recording 24/7 every single day. And anyways, we go out there, we're Bigfooting. We do this Bigfoot decoy experiment where I dress up as a Bigfoot. Like, we had a suit so we could do our recreations in, you know what I mean? It's not a suit that's going to fool anybody, but it's just a Bigfoot suit, right? And I'm out there acting like a Bigfoot, knocking on trees, hooping and hollering, and my buddies are in the woods watching me on thermal, right? It seemed like a great idea at the time. I can't see anything. I don't have a flashlight. I don't have nothing. I'm actually touching my face at times to make sure my eyes are open. Like, am I actually looking right now? And I start seeing these little lights. Don't think nothing of it because I think it's my eyes just messing me up. Not to spoil the movie, but we end up hearing a knock. It was a pretty good knock. And I was done. I was like, all right, I'm out. This ain't funny anymore. You know, because what are my friends going to do? They're going to sit there and watch is what they're going to do. You think one of them's going to get up and help me? Hell no. Stacy Brown been down this road. You don't depend on people in situations like that, you know, unless they love you. And then even then, they might love themselves more. But yeah, and when I went over to Joey, I was like, did you hear that? You hear that? Because I broke character then. Like, it was, you know, that knock. I was like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, are you seeing these lights? And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know anybody else was seeing this. I didn't expect him to say that. And we didn't go into that in the movie because the movie wasn't made for Bigfooters. Okay. The movie is made for the people who don't believe in Bigfoot. As I need to change their minds. I need them to open up more because the way this is going to happen is like years ago, how they said they were going to get communism to happen in America. We're just going to get it in through the youth. You know what I'm saying? And let's say that the government is actually holding documents. These old stonewalling warmongers that are in there now, for whatever reason, they don't want Bigfoot to be a thing. They don't want to let the information out. However, that 10-year-old right now who's going to grow up and be that politician in 30 years, if we can make it not taboo for him and, you know, do it justice so he believes it in 30 years, maybe there's a part where, you know, it can get, something can start to leak out because they don't think it's so out of the ordinary now. It's not a joke anymore. These kids like, hey, yeah, maybe Bigfoot is out there, instead of, oh no, y'all just a bunch of hippies. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what the goal is to change people's minds. But at the end of it, after we did all that, because if Joey doesn't believe in Bigfoot after season 1, if he's still in the I don't believe after all that we just did, the show's over with, right? But Joey says, hey, we had to pursue this. there's something here. Now, maybe it's something that did exist, but there's something to it. There's no reason for them to lie to us. So what we've done now is we've got a lawyer who's agreed to take the case. So we've got a GoFundMe on our website. It's thejourneytobelief.com. And I mean, anything that people can give. What we're trying to raise is $15,000. We're trying to raise the $12,000 for the emails and the $3,200 for him. Okay. And what he will do, because he actually used to be the lawyer for the FWC. So I don't know if this is a good thing or not to have him trying to sue his buddies, but he will resubmit the request. Okay, so he resubmits the request, and you know, maybe they're not called skunk apes in the files. Maybe they've got some other name for them. You know what I mean? Something it was, whether it's like experiment 112 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he would know how to pull those reports out that open up those reports. That would be cool. You know what I mean? If he could just, he resubmits it and they give him the information, right? Because at the end of the day, we just want the reports, right? But if they lie to him as well, because we've already got reports, what they did to us was a lie, then we will file a suit against the Florida Fish and Wildlife, take them to court, and you know, make them figure out how they're going to get out of that fiasco, because that'll make a lot of noise. When Stacy Brown's got 40 people in Bigfoot costumes in front of the damn Capitol picketing, which is coming up. That's going to happen probably before the end of this year, as soon as it cools down. Release the records, bro. Release the reports. TMZ, everybody be crawling around that place. You know what I mean? That'd be big news. How y'all going to get away from it, you know? And we'll continue to put pressure, because it's not like we don't have merit for the suit. You did lie to us. If there's nothing, then just give us the damn reports, you know? But if they end up giving him the reports, we're going to post them on our website, let everybody read them for free, and then we'll use that in a different way to try to, at the end of the day, get an admission. You know, just put a damn sign up out here. Let people know these things may be running around the woods. Okay? And it's same for the emails. If we can raise the money, as soon as we get the money for the emails, we're going to start getting those in chunks. When we get a little bit of money, we'll buy some of the emails, and then we'll buy another batch, and we're just going to throw them on the website, because maybe, if I'm correct with them knowing about Bigfoot's existence, maybe there's something in them emails that could actually get some kind of legislation and get this ball rolling, because if they know about them, we don't have to have a body anymore. You know, and I mean, who's ever thought to look into this stuff? I know I hadn't. It ended up having to come from a skeptic, a guy who absolutely doesn't believe in Bigfoot at all. You know what I'm saying? It took an outside set of eyes to look at it, because I should have thought about this years ago, but I didn't. And, you know, the project was fun. It's a ever evolving project right now. We're just going to keep going with it. But that's the goal, man. That's we're going to hopefully get the emails, throw them on the website, let everybody go through them, because God knows I ain't got the time to go through 73,000 emails. You know, but maybe the public, we could dig in there and find something.
Want to give us the name of that website again?
It's thejourneytobelief.com.
Okay.
And the GoFundMe was the same?
Yeah, there's a donate link on there, and then when you
Okay.
click that, it'll take you to the GoFundMe.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Stacy, I can't thank you enough for being here tonight, man.
Yeah, no kidding,
It was
man.
a great show,
Finally.
brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all letting me make my spiel.
Absolutely.
Oh, awesome. You can come back anytime.
Yeah, we'd love to get you back on down the road and talk some more about just whatever with you, man.
Yeah, bro.
What-
Well, we have some we get some more information here soon about what's going on, because like I said, this is going to be a
Keep us
deal.
posted on that. Yeah.
Come back on and chat about it.
Yep.
What instrument did you play? Guitar?
Yeah, that's what I played in the band, but I could play drums, bass, you know,
Okay.
all that. So
Did you guys? Let me ask you a question. You guys have any of your own recordings saved that you could
oh
like?
yeah, bro. Yeah,
What if
dude.
what if we put one in our episode or something like that to help
Go
promote?
right
Can we
ahead,
do it?
dude. Yeah, I got
Can we?
another
Are you on
band.
Spotify or where can I find it?
YouTube, I know of. Maybe it's still on Spotify. I don't know. I don't like once I quit it, I just quit it. But Fireplug. And
Okay.
I can send you some stuff too, but there's
Yeah.
also my other band, Stacy Brown and the Big Bad Wolves.
Send us anything you can. You know, you got our email now here, so just send us that stuff. I would love to put some of your songs in the intro or outro of our episode with you if we could.
Sure, bud.
Help plug that. I mean, I know you may not play a lot anymore, but you know, doesn't hurt to.
I haven't played in probably since 2021.
Okay.
Like anything. I have a damn $1,800 guitar sitting out in my shop, just sitting there.
What do you got? What kind of guitar do you got?
That guitar is a 40th anniversary American Fender Strat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice one, dude. I love it.
I played since I was about 15. I've had some Gibsons in here and there, but you know, I don't play anymore. I haven't picked up anything, but I'd like to play acoustic from time to time, but just haven't done it.
Yeah, I'll pick up, you know, some stuff because I just pick up the guitar beside the bed every now and then and write a rap song about fat girls or something like that. You know, it's it's
Yeah.
just something now just to entertain myself.
Right on. All right, dude. Well, you have a good one again, and thank you so much, brother. It was great talking to you, and I want to keep in touch and get to know you a little bit better down the road here and talk to you some more.
Yeah.
For sure, fellas. I appreciate it.
All right, Stacy.
So do we. Take it easy.
Take care.
All right, bud. Bye.
Thanks.